On the contents of the ships or on those 4,700 containers, besides the fuel and oil and hazardous materials, can you give us some general categories of what other goods are on board?
Oh my goodness, in any given container ship, you can have a very, very wide range of packaged materials, consumer goods, and many, many other things. So it's going to be a very, very broad cross-section of cargoes.
Okay. And then on the other ships that are stuck in the port, can you talk a little bit about what coordination is being done with those ships and what kind of cargo they have and where they're bound for?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we can give you some more specifics on the ships in the port, but I think roughly we've got about a dozen ships that remain in the port that are unable to get out. The majority of those are foreign flag vessels, and I think just sort of typical of what we see in the port of Baltimore in terms of dry bulk carriers, car carriers, and other things. There are a number of maritime administration ships that are there as well.
And then Secretary Buttigieg, on regulations and requirements, are you discussing waiving any regulations or requirements to help speed along the reconstruction of this bridge?
Too soon to say what exact administrative issues may come up, but certainly we have a clear direction from the President to tear down any barriers, bureaucratic as well as financial, that could affect the timeline of this project.
Thanks, Corinne. Just for the Secretary, you mentioned you were meeting with shippers and supply chain operators tomorrow, but just sort of curious about your early assessment so far. Do you expect the closure of the port to lead to a full-blown supply chain crisis, or what is your early assessment so far?
Well, this is not of the proportions of, for example, LA and Long Beach when it comes to container traffic. That's one port complex or two ports that collectively represent 40% of U.S. container traffic. It's nothing like that, but it is an important port and an important system of the East Coast ports. Now, a lot of the goods that come on or off there go as part of runs where ships also visit the ports of New York and New Jersey and Virginia. And so right now, I think there are already diversions taking place to those and other East Coast ports, helping to absorb some of that need. So those are the kinds of things we're getting more information on right now, and I'm looking forward to getting a better sense tomorrow after talking to the shippers.
And a quick question on sort of safety reviews. You know, obviously the ship was involved in an accident in Belgium, I believe in 2016. Is this incident going to prompt a full-scale review of vessels like this?
So we've seen what's in the news in terms of that particular incident. I don't know whether that's particularly informative to this. Probably a different vessel crew, different pilots, different weather conditions, and so on and so forth. But nevertheless, the Coast Guard keeps the safety histories of all the vessels that call into U.S. ports. And so we're reviewing that in terms of the investigation.